Tonight, growing trouble.
If the ban continues, we're going to have an oversupply of pork.
The RCMP investigates as China suspends Canadian meat imports. Another conflict for the two leaders just ahead of the G20.
I don't want to see another picture like that.
The shocking picture at the center of the U.S. migrant crisis. But will it move the politicians to act?
We should be addressing this early on.
And why more young Canadians are taking their mental health concerns to the ER. We are looking at the stressors and the solutions. This is The National. Last night's threat is now today's reality. Beijing has stopped buying this country's meat. Someone used fake Canadian documents to ship pork to China. That pork contained a substance China doesn't allow. And now the RCMP is on the case. And the timing, not great, just as the Prime Minister and the Chinese President head to the G20 summit. We will get to that, but first, Alison Dempster has the view from the farm.
At this farm in central Alberta, hogs are getting fattened up for market. These days, China makes up about 20% of the market for Canadian pork. So far this year, producers have exported more than $300 million worth, and they were hoping to sell a lot more.
It's disappointing to know that, corners were cut or something had happened or was forged.
Jessica Fasoli has a lot of questions about what happened with the batch of problem pork. She raises her pigs on feed without growth additives and has the documents to prove it. Fasoli steers clear of one additive in particular, known as a muscle drug.
We as Canadian farmers go to great lengths to make sure that we're ractopamine free.
Ractopamine is the additive Chinese officials say they detected in a batch of Canadian pork products, prompting them to suspend all meat imports, including beef. While China is a small market for beef producers, amounting to just 2% of exports, they still want to see the suspension lifted as soon as possible.
This is an issue that is with pork, so we have been communicating with the Canadian government, who is investigating why beef has been included in this export certificate halt.
We take our food inspection with the greatest of seriousness, and we will not tolerate anything that detracts from our reputation.
Hog farmers welcome the federal government's investigation, but they say time is of the essence.
If the ban continues to be in place, we're going to have an oversupply of pork, a lot like what the U.S. has had. A lot of pork in supply means that the prices drop.
Fasoli and other producers hope the Prime Minister can ease trade tensions with China at the upcoming G20 summit. A lucrative and growing Canadian pork market depends on it. Alison Dempster, CBC News, Calgary.
Before acting against Canadian meat, China had already decided to stop importing other Canadian products like canola. So it certainly fueled speculation that China is again retaliating against Canada for arresting a high-profile Chinese tech executive. But it's worth getting at the specifics behind this sudden suspension.
These inauthentic certificates, we want to know who is responsible, why they're responsible.
At the center are health certificates that are issued when meat is exported to another country. Ottawa admits bogus documents were found recently attached to shipments of pork headed to China, and this is not the first time.
It's not unprecedented, and we'll be working as hard as possible to get to the bottom.
China stepped up inspections a couple of weeks ago after detecting ractopamine. That feed additive is banned in China, Russia, and EU countries, but legal in North America. So China has already been on high alert about Canadian meat products.
I hope, and we're working for that, to reassure our trading partner, in this case China, that our system is reliable.
Good time then to bring in Chris Hall. He's the CBC's National Affairs Editor. So Chris, we heard from the federal ministers there. It seems Ottawa is approaching this trade dispute differently. How so?
Well, the big difference is that China and Canada agree on the problem. It's these faked certificates that accompany these exports, and they are working together to try to resolve the dispute. But that said, Adrian, it doesn't mean it's going to be done quickly. I'm told that it would be weeks, perhaps even longer, before meat exports would be allowed back into China. So in the long term, short term, there is going to be real pain for Canadian meat exporters.
Still, arguably, really awkward moment for the Prime Minister. He's on his way to Japan for the G20 summit. Will Justin Trudeau be able to talk about this with the Chinese president?
There is no formal meeting plan, and that's one of the reasons he was in Washington last week to ask Donald Trump during his discussions with Xi Jinping to raise the case of the two detained Canadians, Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor. But there is an opportunity, potentially, because China and Canada traditionally are seated together. The leaders are arranged alphabetically by country. So there will be an opportunity as leaders mingle, as they wait for the formal sessions to start, to have a word with Xi Jinping. We'll just have to watch the body language to see if it happens.
All right, National Affairs Editor Chris Hall in Ottawa. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Adrian.
In the U.S., this has been the source of so much division. The wall, the border with Mexico, and the steady stream of people who defy it. The political noise can be overwhelming, the details pretty complicated. And then, as we're seeing today, one picture can suddenly put it all into focus. That picture is disturbing. A dad and his little girl dead in a river, drowned, reportedly, trying just to make it to the U.S. Fair warning, we're going to show it in a moment because, as Ellen Morrow explains, it's not only breaking hearts today, it's driving the conversation in Washington.
The bodies of a young father and his daughter, not yet 2 years old, carried away. The girl's mother crying in the background. The two died in the Rio Grande, the scene captured in a harrowing image you're about to see. Oscar Alberto Ramirez Martinez and his daughter Valeria, her arm resting on her father's neck, had traveled from El Salvador. The blame game is fully underway.
If we had the right laws that the Democrats are not letting us have, those people, they wouldn't be coming up. They wouldn't be trying.
President Trump, I want you to look at this photo. These are not drug dealers or vagrants or criminals. They are people simply fleeing a horrible situation in their home country.
More than 130,000 people were stopped trying to cross the border last month alone. So far this year, the United Nations says 170 people have died or gone missing attempting the journey.
Simply put, the current humanitarian crisis has forced us to put border security and national security at risk.
And the pressure is on Congress.
I hope that picture alone will catalyze this Congress, this Senate, this committee to do something.
But lawmakers are struggling, disagreements raging over conditions at detention facilities where child migrants reportedly lack food and places to bathe. Some analysts argue that migrants are being driven in part by President Trump's rhetoric.
There is a belief that Donald Trump is at some point going to be able to close the border, and so it'll become more difficult, so go now.
Meanwhile, the grief is only beginning for Rosa Ramirez, mourning a son and a granddaughter gone too soon. All they wanted, she says, was a better future in the United States. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Washington.
For many who survive that journey, detention facilities are the next stop, a sign of just how controversial they are. This scene today.
We will fight! We will fight! We will fight!
Those are employees of the online retailer Wayfair who walked off the job after the company sold furniture to a group that runs a detention center for migrant children. Wayfair says it sells to anyone acting within the law, but that it will also donate $100,000 to the Red Cross. Now back to this country. For the first time, two far-right groups active in Canada have been added to the Criminal Code's official list of terrorist organizations.
It will help to facilitate the laying of terrorism charges against perpetrators and supporters of terrorism. It will also help block the flow of financial resources to terrorist groups when such groups use Canada's financial system.
The groups are Blood and Honor and Combat 18. In another measure, the government will also commit up to $1 million to Tech Against Terrorism. That's a UN initiative with the global technology industry that really aims to counter terrorist use of the internet. Canada has already funded possible tech solutions to the spread of extremism, including $1.5 million to an organization called Moonshot CVE for a project it calls Canada Redirect. So what is this redirect program? Well, at its core, the aim is to disrupt someone right at the stage when they're searching the net for hateful, potentially violent or dangerous terms or groups. I sat down with Micah Clark of Moonshot, which currently works in 26 countries and has just started working in Canada. When you hear about people in Canada searching hate, what does that look like? It looks like this, the most vile of word clouds.
We'll often see things that are targeting a particular ethnic group, gender identity, things along those lines. Anti-homosexual search traffic has unfortunately been quite elevated.
Really?
Yeah, the preponderance of anti-homosexual search traffic in Canada has been pretty high.
Words alone aren't necessarily dangerous, but sometimes when searched in patterns, they indicate early curiosity and violent extremism. So Moonshot steps in, redirects using Google's ad technology.
While Nike might advertise shoes and Burger King might advertise cheeseburgers, we're all advertising alternative content for people who are seeking extremist content.
Someone, for example, who searches a particular white nationalist metal band would see this ad popping up first, called Take Pride in Your Music. It's a link to a YouTube video of Canadian metal music, none of it white nationalist. Does this actually work? I mean, it sounds too easy that someone searches for something and then the first search term will redirect them, and that ends the radicalization process.
Sure. So the notion that any one search that gets redirected is going to kind of end it for one person is probably very unlikely, right? So I don't think it's premised on the notion that we would somehow save people, on the basis of a single search. But it does provide an alternative, and often because of the size of our databases, search after search after search they run, they're going to be confronted and they're going to be provided with this alternative.
There are doubters, and it hasn't been used in Canada for long. Hard to determine if it will work. There's no way to tell when a dangerous road is not taken. Accusations of murder from one side and lies from the other today at the United Nations Human Rights Council, 9 months after the killing of Jamal Khashoggi, a journalist and critic of Saudi Arabia's crown prince. A UN investigator just laid out her findings. Khashoggi walked into the Saudi consulate building in Istanbul to pick up a marriage document last October, and he never emerged alive. Exactly how he was killed and where his remains are now are still mysteries. Saudi prosecutors say his body was dismembered and taken away, but the UN Special Rapporteur on Extrajudicial Executions says their investigation did not go far enough. In fact, as Thomas Degler explains, she wants it to go all the way to the top, to the Crown Prince himself.
From Jamal Khashoggi's fiancée today, a desperate plea to diplomats from around the world.
I want to know who gave the order to kill Jamal and who else knew. I want to know where is his body.
The UN investigators' independent report blames Saudi Arabia for the attack. The special rapporteur can't say for sure who ordered the killing, but she's got a pretty good idea.
It was overseen, planned and endorsed by high-level officials, and it was premeditated.
She's demanding an international criminal investigation targeting Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He's denied involvement and gone on with the business of ruling his kingdom, smiling for the cameras today on a trade mission to South Korea.
This murder was an attack on the freedom of expression of all individuals, all of us, and on the freedom of press. It cannot go unanswered.
Saudi Arabia has put 11 men on trial in private for Khashoggi's brutal killing inside that consulate. But the UN investigator says the Saudi trial doesn't stand up to international scrutiny. The kingdom's ambassador, Abdulaziz Al-Wasil, blasted the report and its findings. It's based on prejudice and prefabricated ideas, he said. We reject any attempt to remove this from our national justice system, reiterating the Saudi demand for the whole world to butt out. Instead, Hatice Cengiz hopes momentum is finally building for justice.
It was not only my beloved Jamal who was murdered that day, but also democracy, human rights, and freedoms.
An emotional reminder of just how much is at stake. Thomas Daglu, CBC News, London.
Some of the other stories we're following tonight on The National. Vice Admiral Mark Norman is retiring from the military. He was formerly the second in command in the Canadian Forces before being charged with leaking military secrets. Prosecutors dropped that charge last month. Norman indicated he wanted to return to his post, but he's now reached a settlement with the federal government and will not return to the job. Anti-extradition protesters in Hong Kong are appealing for international support ahead of this week's G20 summit. While the extradition law was suspended, they want it scrapped entirely. They're also calling for the release of those arrested in earlier demonstrations.
I can sense that they're angrier than last time, because since last time they dismissed, but nothing really happened. The government didn't respond to them at all.
Protesters pelted eggs and spray painted the building. Police were finally able to clear the crowd in the early morning. China has said it will not discuss the Hong Kong issue at the summit.
Gasol, open three, got it!
Okay, well, no surprise here, but confirmation Marc Gasol is staying with the Raptors at least for another season. He is exercising a one-year player option on his contract worth about $25.6 million. It's hard to even say those words. The next player we're watching, of course, is Kawhi Leonard. He's set to become a free agent on Sunday, but is still in negotiations with Toronto. It is still just an idea, the Tampa Bay Rays playing some of their home games in Montreal. But today, baseball fans in the city had a real reason to hope. That's because the son of the Montreal's Expos founding owner, Charles Bronfman, is trying to bring back the old ball game. But as Alison Northcott reports, it will take more than just a good pitch.
What did you do with bat?
For some young players, even the idea of a professional baseball team for Montreal to call its own is a motivator.
These teams, like in Toronto, they're much more into baseball because of the Blue Jays and all of that, and they're much more like passionate.
More kids are going to start playing baseball and they're going to start getting into baseball.
Montreal hasn't had a major league team since the Expos left in 2004, and some fans have been eagerly waiting for baseball to somehow return.
I'm all in for trying something groundbreaking, and I really think that Montrealers will jump on that bandwagon.
Stephen Bronfman says pairing up with the Tampa Bay Rays could be the answer, in an arrangement that would see the team split its time between Florida and Montreal.
I think people just want to see baseball, and people are adaptable. I think it's a great chance to have summer baseball in Montreal, and to do it with great professionals and true partners.
The Rays owner says teaming up with Montreal could be a lifeline.
We are at or near the bottom in every economic category in Major League Baseball. This is a reality, and we can all confront it together.
But the Rays are locked in a lease to play in Florida until the end of the 2027 season.
Get all your stuff out.
In Montreal, there's some skepticism about sharing a team.
Our aspirations are really for something a lot more than just a part-time city team.
There are questions, too, about the economic viability of the idea, since the Rays owner says he envisions new stadiums in both cities.
I just don't see a scenario in which this is going to work. Too many logistical hurdles, and I think the stadium thing is a killer. You cannot build two stadiums for $2 billion with public money in two cities that don't want to give public money.
Still, he says the discussions could be a stepping stone to bring Montreal a little closer to once again having a full-time team. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
Still ahead on The National, why more and more teenagers are turning to the ER for their mental health. And months after the Ethiopian Airlines crash, we hear from some of the families of some Canadian victims about the heavy burden they carry.
I would wish that I was there with them. Today, I do live to keep their memories alive. And I'm their voice.
New York City. When Canadians come here to show what they can do, it's usually to places like Lincoln Center, Carnegie Hall, and Broadway. Now, a lot of them will be coming to Soho and Lower Manhattan as well. Soho is a kind of mecca to another kind of artist, the visual artist. And thanks to our federal government, they'll soon be given the chance to display their work in one of the most prestigious addresses here of all. 420 West Broadway, home to some of the world's most famous contemporary art galleries. Competition for any exhibition space in Soho is always tough, and unknown artists have a hard time breaking through. The government hopes this experimental project will help make Canadian artists much better known.
I was a bit frustrated by the fact that Canadian visual arts were bypassed so often.
Guy Plamondon, Canada's cultural attaché in New York, came up with the idea and managed to secure the space, which he's called the 49th parallel.
What we had to show was mostly contemporary in Canada. After all, our culture is not as old as the British, the French, the German, or the Italians.
420 West Broadway receives up to 6,000 visitors every Saturday and a steady stream of people through the week. The first show is by Michael Snow, probably the best known of Canada's contemporary artists. It was designed to bring attention to the gallery fast. Future plans call for experimental film screenings and a documentation center for Canadian art. The gallery will cost about $70,000 a year to rent, but the government thinks that's a bargain.
It may be that museums or gallery owners will have a better understanding of Canadian art after a few years.
New York is probably the most important center for contemporary art in the world, but Canada is the first country to open up a gallery specifically to promote its own contemporary artists. If it's successful, other countries seem sure to follow. John Greer, CBC News, New York.
Well, the number of young people with mental health disorders hasn't changed. A new Ontario study shows more are seeking help in emergency rooms. Visits spiked 78% between 2003 and 2017, and doctors are seeing more severe cases. Health reporter Christine Birak has more on why and what more needs to be done.
Emergency rooms have seen a surge over the last decade in young patients suffering from mental health problems, ranging from anxiety and depression to self-harm.
Our emergency department physicians, our crisis intervention workers, and our psychiatry staff are all observing an increase.
A recent Ontario study found the number of young people visiting emergency for self-harm has more than doubled, from nearly 2 kids in every 1,000 a decade ago to more than 4 per 1,000 in 2017.
I'm hearing a lot about academic stress and pressure. That's one big theme. The other big theme falls under the general category of relationships.
I came out of a mental hospital for depression, and they're like, no, you're just lazy.
Everyone in this group has lived with mental illness, including psychosis, that nearly cost some of them their lives.
I don't think that there's more mental illness than there has been in the past.
He's right. The overall prevalence of mental disorders in kids remains between 10 and 20%. So what's changed? They all agree the good news is there's less stigma and more kids are seeking help. But the bad news is they're now staring at a lot of screens, which can be isolating.
You see a lot of people just on their cell phones, almost like a lack of communication that I noticed.
Despite investments in mental health services, they also feel the system isn't well coordinated.
I feel that we need more preventative measures. We shouldn't be having to go to the ER. We should be addressing this early on.
One of the challenges for mental health nationally is what we call access and equity. So accessing mental health services in a timely way.
This psychiatrist agrees the mental health system still has huge gaps, and too much screen time is pushing kids towards unhealthy habits.
If they're spending that amount of time on smartphones, they are spending less time with direct communication with their friends and less time, as I say, exercising or sleeping, which is what they should be doing.
Crimes committed by the mind disease. Gotta break the stigma and the fallacies.
A support program at the Center for Addiction and Mental Health brought this group together.
Mentally healthy, gotta be mentally healthy. It's about recovery.
Music offered them a sense of belonging,
Can we do a hug?
Let's do a hug.
giving them a chance to bring their darkest days into the light. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
Still ahead on the National, searching for answers after the Ethiopian's airlines crash. Who the families want accountability from.
When Daniel traveled, I never thought that it will be the plane. Never. And it was the plane, it was the Boeing. The people who works around that, who failed us.
Earlier than early morning. Charter time in the travel business.
One traveling? Is it air only or hotel?
Step behind the counter of Canada's 3 big tour operators.
Thank you for calling Signature. This is Sarah.
Bonjour.
Sunquest Christine speaking.
Reservations clerks are being pushed extra hard.
You want all-inclusive?
To unload every available travel package.
And an upgraded room with an ocean view is $24.79 gross.
Enter Jean-Marc Eustache, the man at the controls of Montreal-based Transat. Of the big 3, the only Canadian-owned tour operator.
How strong we are in some departure, how many gateways.
He knows this business is no holiday. Thin margins and lately price wars. Difficult decisions must be made.
The Toronto, Montreal, Madrid, Montreal, Toronto, we're canceling. I think we're no good for Spain.
Eustache is fighting to stay on top of Canada's $5 billion industry. But for Transat to survive, number 1 here isn't enough. He's jumping into the game his competition is already playing by transforming Transat into a multinational contender.
I would like to be one of the 5 or 6 biggest organizations in the world in tourism.
Just yourself traveling today? Just myself.
The package tour business has always been a rough ride. You usually only hear about it when somebody goes under. These days it's become so competitive that you have to be big just to survive, and you have to keep getting bigger. Grow or get swallowed up. That's what it's all about.
And you wanted to do air only?
In the past few years, Transat's 2 main competitors have been bought by international companies.
With size, you acquire properties, you acquire cruise ships, you acquire airline seats at a cost that the smaller players can't possibly achieve.
We now go into our suppliers and say, right, we have over 30% of market share. We really need your cooperation on whatever, be it a rate, be it exclusivity or something of that nature. So a lot of it is boiling down to clout.
Think of this industry like a video game with conglomerates prowling for new prey. It was British-owned Air Tours that gobbled up Sunquest. Another UK company took over Signature. But Transat is doing its own gobbling. It bought stakes in 2 Canadian tour operators and in France in Look Voyage. Now Transat is shopping for a British company.
Those groups are forming and are putting pressure on others because they get these cost advantages. If you're not able to achieve, competitive size, and then you will get very attractive for somebody else.
In Canada this year, vacationers are holding out for last-minute deals. That means any unsold packages sell at bargain basement prices. Great for customers, a stinker for the industry.
We're all out there flogging and advertising and television and radio and newspaper trying to get rid of our product. When you get into those price battles, it's not uncommon to find that you're selling your product below cost.
Cheap travel packages, Jean-Marc Eustache has been selling them for years. Strange because he's terrified of flying, cancels trips all the time. But 20 years ago, he started Tourbec, a tour operator specializing in student travel.
I was a Marxist at that time, and I was a student leader in Quebec.
So we had the philosophy of, everybody should travel, it should be free, and but you get older and things change a little bit.
This crash site is slowly changing from an active investigation into more of a memorial.
18 Canadian citizens were killed last March, along with other permanent residents of Canada, when Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crashed. It was the second fatal crash by a Boeing 737 MAX 8, with a combined death toll of 346. Soon, all 371 planes of that model were grounded as suspicion fell on its flight control software. As we showed you last night, Boeing is short on space as it works to make a safety feature standard in all MAX 8s instead of optional. The crash in Ethiopia spawned dozens of lawsuits. Tomorrow, lawyers for some of the victims' families will appear in federal court in Chicago seeking accountability and compensation. Tonight, Susan Ormiston speaks with 3 Canadians still shattered by the sudden loss of loved ones.
On a Sunday morning last March, Paul Njoroge's life went silent. He lost everything most precious: his wife, his 3 kids, his mother-in-law. When Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 dove into the ground.
There hasn't been a day where I don't think about me being in the same plane with my family. And right from the start, I would wish that I was there with them. Today, I do live to keep their memories alive. And I'm their voice.
We first met Paul a few days after the tragedy in Bishoftu, Ethiopia. He was in shock, barely able to walk to the very place his family had died. He'd booked their flights from Toronto to Addis Ababa and then on to Nairobi, while he stayed back a week to work.
Does it give you any peace coming here?
I'll never have peace. I can't have peace.
Months later, Paul is still struggling to carry on.
I think about my wife a lot. Because she was there with the children and my mom-in-law. And she knew they're going to die. It doesn't leave me that my children, that my wife and my children's flesh is out there in Ethiopia. It's mixed with the sand and the jet fuel and the pieces of the aircraft. Never goes away.
One crash was tragic enough, but 2, the MAX 8 was suspect. Around the world, airlines grounded their MAX 8 fleets because of striking similarities with a Lion Air jetliner which plunged into the sea last October.
What has brought us here today is this tragedy from March 10th.
U.S. lawyers are suing Boeing on behalf of 14 victims from Canada. They allege it was negligent, putting profits ahead of safety, and that it concealed the true nature of an automated flight control system called MCAS, which the pilots could not override.
They knew, or should have known, or ought to have known, that the plane design was flawed. I look at Boeing as a company that focused on profits instead of the safety of human life.
More passengers from Canada died in that Ethiopian field than from any other country save for Kenya. It was spring break. Families were traveling. And so were young delegates to a UN conference in Nairobi. Daniel Moore, was one of a group of 4 Canadians heading to Kenya to make their mark as future environmentalists. She was 24 and poised to take on the world.
I think that Danielle would want us to be strong together, to support each other, and to also take care of the passions that she's had as well.
Danielle and her brother David were close.
Yeah, she's always been my biggest inspiration.
Danielle's parents, Chris and Clarisse, and her 2 Davids, a brother and a partner, are only now planning a celebration of Danielle's life. Like all families, they're still waiting for positive DNA identification and the return of any remains, trapping them in an emotional limbo.
It's a struggle.
Yeah. It's okay.
Sometimes you feel bad, you feel guilty. I feel guilty breathing because she's not breathing, and you just wonder, what is that 6 minute look like? How dark it is. Was she with someone? Was she calling me? Was she thinking of me? Like, was she suffering? I don't know. So every morning, every night is always a struggle. And as what Chris said, it's the new norm, but I don't like the new norm. I want my old norm.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Clarisse and Chris want someone to be held personally accountable. They won't accept a conclusion that Danielle's death was pilot error or even an accident.
When Danielle traveled, I never thought that it will be the plane. Never. And it was the plane, it was the Boeing. The people who works around that, who failed us, who failed every 157 people on that plane.
I'd like to have more responsibility, people to take ownership, and to be accountable. You need to have a person's name, people who made decisions. Right now, they're hiding behind the corporate veil.
Boeing is now caught up in 2 ongoing accident investigations and more inquiries from U.S. federal agencies examining the FAA's role. Lawsuits are piling up, the Canadian families suing for wrongful death and millions in damages. Boeing has offered to go to mediation in the cases rather than face a trial. At the recent Paris Air Show, Boeing secured a first tentative new order for 200 MAX aircraft, and its CEO spoke to the tragedy.
We are very sorry for the loss of lives as a result of the tragic accidents of both Ethiopian 302 and Lion Air 610. Safety is sacred in this company.
Does that give you any comfort?
No, because it's, they're just words, right? You know, what is their safety policy? I'd like to know, because if they do put safety first, then the second crash would never have happened.
This is the picture of the morning she left. She had lost her teeth.
The morning she left
for the flight.
this time?
Yes.
Mohammed Ali lost his 5-year-old niece Sophia.
This is my son with my sister.
And his sister Amina from Edmonton.
Yeah, I initially thought she was gonna miss that flight.
He was supposed to be on that flight with them, but in the last week changed his plans.
When Amina passed on, it was such a painful death because we don't have her body, you know. To be honest, she's still flying. She left us, she's on the plane to this point. We don't know what happened, right? Like, we know what happened, but we don't feel that she is gone until we for sure say, oh, that hand I can remember, you know, that, you know, nose I can tell, whatever is left, you know, that's her, you know, and we haven't had that part.
Ethiopian Airlines has outsourced identifying remains to a British company. It could be September before families get confirmation. But by mid-July, they will be able to search a database of personal belongings. At the same time, Boeing is trying to persuade national regulators and airlines, including in Canada, to lift the ban on the MAX 8.
Like, what have you done to fix these planes? You're just saying everything's fixed now. How do we know? Like, we need some transparency, because I don't trust them anymore, honestly.
I never, at any point in my life, envisioned life without my wife and my children. I never did that.
Paul Njoroge has found some comfort with other bereaved parents, and he's helped with memorials like a tree planted at his kid's school. But his grief is often laced with anger.
It doesn't concern me about what Boeing can pay to the families of the victims or whatever. It doesn't concern me. If Boeing can be allowed to manufacture planes that can fall from the sky anytime, if the management dysfunction continues, the lack of internal oversight continues, to whom is it well? We all fly on these planes. It's not well with me.
To smother the loneliness that all these families feel, Paul runs day after day to exhaust his body so his mind will sleep, to chase away the longing for a little while.
I do have nightmares a lot. Nightmares about planes falling from the sky. You know, sometimes I have nightmares where I'm talking with them, I'm playing with them, only to wake up and realize that I'm still alone. And I'll be alone for the rest of my life.
Honoring their passing is what keeps Paul going.
So, Susan, these families remain in such grief. Why is it taking so long for the return of their loved ones' remains?
Well, you know, that plane dove into the ground with such a force, Adrian, that much of the plane's structure was obliterated. So Ethiopian Airlines have already warned families that there may be no DNA match at all for some of them. Where there were remains, the DNA has now been extracted and it's being matched with samples given by the families. It's just a long process.
Sure is. What about the 737 MAX 8s? What's it going to take to get those finally back in the air?
Well, you know, airlines had canceled their MAX 8 flights only till August, and now it's been pushed back to September earliest. There's two lingering questions: safety and confidence. On the safety issue, Boeing says it's completed a software update and it has new training rules for that aircraft. But just today, the FAA said a new potential risk was discovered in a simulator test, and so Boeing has to address that. And on the confidence, well, they've been going on a bit of charm offensive to persuade airlines and crews that the plane is safe. But just like last week, you'll remember Sully Sullenberger, the pilot who landed the plane on the Hudson. Well, he testified that the automated flight control system on the MAX 8 was fatally flawed and should never have been approved. We talked to WestJet and Air Canada. They both told us they're waiting for the regulators to lift the ban on the planes, and Air Canada says it will do additional safety evaluations at that point.
All right, Susan, thanks very much.
Okay.
Still ahead on the National, understanding the impact of melting icebergs, what the future looks like for our coastal communities.
We'll keep seeing them, but there'll be less of them. By the end of the century, we're going to have less icebergs coming from Greenland. All they can do is melt. They can't form icebergs anymore because they're not in the water.
But first, here's a look at a story we will have later this week on the National. Rosie recently sat down with 3 retiring MPs to ask them why they have decided to leave politics. Here's a preview.
Some people enjoy elections, like, you know, I've been through 6, and I have a knot in my stomach for 3 months. You know, I drive down, I've got a big rural riding, I'm driving down, I'm counting signs, you know, your phone is in your ear all the time.
You won 6 times.
What?
You're still stressed out.
Well, yeah, no, it's tough, you know, you go like you're a few votes behind, and I always try to do that, no, it's time for somebody else to take it on.
You'll miss it, though.
I'll miss the people, but I'm ready. I don't know. I think I may have another career left in something, be able to contribute in some way. I want to do some volunteering in my community, and so you just reach that point in your life.
Tonight, a News Magazine special report on the United States program of scientific exploration to the Moon, Mars, Jupiter, and beyond. The search for life in outer space. Good evening, I'm Kingsley Brown. A little more than 20 years ago, the world's best rockets, the German V-2s, had a range of only 200 miles, and they threatened conquest of one of the most significant islands on Earth, Great Britain. Today, the conquest of the mysteries of outer space is being made with an effort and a cost that staggers the imagination. And now the targets are the Moon, Mars, and Jupiter. It involves a technology that has shown perhaps more advancement than any other field of man's endeavor. The United States space program is costing the American taxpayer more than $20 million a day, or more than $7 billion a year, or in Canadian terms, nearly the total federal expenditures of last year. The Americans believe that any concession of superiority to the Russians in space will mean second place for Americans on Earth. So, the Ranger series has made the real reconnaissance for a man on the Moon. Late this year, Surveyor, a remote-controlled laboratory, will make a soft landing on the Moon. Mariner 4 is 40 million miles away, and by mid-July will send back pictures of Mars through the Deep Space Tracking System to its birthplace at Pasadena, California. California Institute of Technology's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, working under contract for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, directs the design and operation of the American unmanned space program. This is where new concepts in rocketry begin, where new fuels, liquid, solid, nuclear, are tested for the space voyages of 10 years from now. Engines and new guidance systems are developed. But to JPL, no program meant more than Ranger. After 6 failures, the program was in jeopardy until the last 3 near-perfect flights. The last, into the crater of Alphonsus, was only 2 3/4 miles off target. The Ranger coordinator is Raymond L. Heacock.
Mr. Heacock, of all the craters on the Moon, why did you pick Alphonsus?
Well, the crater Alphonsus is one that is scientifically interesting, as well as we think also contributing to our general knowledge of the Moon insofar as the manned spaceflight program is concerned. Our first 2 missions picked lunar mare, or seas, these large, dark, flat areas to impact in. Ranger 7 impacted here, and Ranger 8 over in Mare Tranquillitatis. We impacted in these lunar seas because from the Earth they look to be the smoothest areas on the Moon and would give us a kind of knowledge of the topography we need to land a man.
At JPL, a spare model of Mariner 4, now streaking toward Mars on an elliptical course that has already covered more than 200 million miles. Like Mariner 2, which reported no atmosphere around Venus, it is sending back a continual stream of information. So far, its signals indicate that it has lost only 1 scientific experiment. And there's all the appearance of another success for the laboratory's director, Dr. William H. Pickering.
I gather this is the operations center, Dr. Pickering. Yes.
I'm Jamie Poisson. Tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast, Front Burner, as Liberals take a possible nationwide handgun ban off the table, we talk to a Toronto Liberal MP who disagrees with his party's stance. You can subscribe to Front Burner wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, healthcare is a basic human right, and I will fight for basic human rights.
So the 2020 U.S. presidential campaign is kicking up a notch tonight with the first candidates debate. 10 Democratic hopefuls are taking the stage in Miami. They include Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, and Beto O'Rourke. So far, the big topics, healthcare and the economy. Another 10 candidates will be up tomorrow night, among them Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders.
Iran alone cannot, shall not, and will not take all of the burdens anymore.
And that is Iran sending a warning to the UN Security Council today, saying it cannot uphold the nuclear deal alone. When the country signed the agreement back in 2015, most sanctions from world powers were lifted, but the U.S. imposed new sanctions when it withdrew last year. Iran is warning it will soon exceed its allowed supply of uranium and says European nations have until July 8th to salvage the deal. We have a new entry in our ongoing climate change series to share with you. This one focusing on the impact of Canada's melting icebergs. Scientists are trying to put a time frame on how quickly these icebergs will melt and what will happen to the water left behind. As Chris O'Neill-Yates explains, their findings could have global ramifications for coastal communities.
The arrival of icebergs ushers in spring and tourists.
So, like, the tourism is a great boost to Newfoundland, right, to all the little outports and the city too.
When this unusual chunk of ice broke off, it rubbed against a valley and took part of Greenland with it.
Icebergs always came over the years, so, like, you know, like, it makes you wonder, you know, like, will they ever stop?
That's what Memorial University glaciologist Lev Tarasov is trying to figure out.
We'll keep seeing them, that there'll be less of them. By the end of the century, we're going to have less icebergs coming from Greenland.
Tarasov is the sole Canadian on an international team of scientists, estimating a time frame in which these changes could happen. From boring down into the layers of icebergs, it's clear that from the mid-1900s to the turn of the century, there was no change in melt patterns. Then,
around the turn of the century, we started seeing clear changes.
Right now, when chunks calve off the Greenland glacier, they fall into the ocean and become icebergs. But when the glacier retreats from the sea and onto land, those ice chunks will end up melting on land.
All they can do is melt. They can't form icebergs anymore because they're not in the water.
All this melt is directly tied to rising sea levels globally. And that's something else this research is hoping to predict. A time frame for how much sea levels will rise and by when.
The flood levels have been rising.
That's of crucial interest for Joe Darayo.
We have a lot of coastal towns in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Darayo is training engineers with the provincial government to incorporate climate change into how they design public infrastructure. So knowing when something might happen is a bonus for planning purposes.
How do we design a bridge crossing, a culvert to carry the largest possible flow? If we have a design life 50 years, the climate's going to be very, very different. The likelihood of the extreme event or the high flood could be very different.
Some of this ice took 100,000 years to form. Because of climate change, experts say, within our children's lifetimes, it could disappear entirely. Chris O'Neill-Yates, CBC News, Bonavista Vista, Newfoundland.
Up next on The National, after 19 seasons, Roberto Luongo is saying goodbye to his NHL career, and his fans have a message for him in our moment. But first, in case you missed it.
Bathtub, soaker tub, regular house stuff.
You can't tell from the inside, but this is a one-of-a-kind home, and these builders want it to be the future.
So this is a shredded PET. The first step in the recycling process.
It's not made with bricks or steel or wood, but plastic bottles. 600,000 of them shredded, melted, then turned into walls.
You know, you're saving the planet, you're saving the oceans. You're taking all this PET out of the environment and making stuff with it.
Here's another perk. Apparently it can be built fast.
We put up all the walls in about 7 hours, and then we put the roof in another 7 hours, so it took us 14 hours to put the house up.
Durability, they say the walls withstood testing in Category 5 hurricane strength winds, and they say it's easy to care for.
You don't need any siding, and you don't need any roofing. You can just paint it. It's ready to rock.
The final cost, less than $400,000, including all the furnishings, about the same as a regular construction. This particular home will be put up for sale, but the builders hope their idea sparks a movement.
I have a 9-year-old daughter. I'm thinking about how's it going to be for her when she's 25. So let's try to turn things around.
Wayne Gretzky, the most valuable player in professional hockey.
When you play hockey, you play it for fun. I think right now I play it because I have fun and I enjoy it. I continue to play until comes a time when I consider it a job, and I think when you consider it a job, I think that's when you should retire. And I remember my first game of pro, I thought, I finally made it, I'm going to make the most of it. And I think I try to play every game as hard as I can, and I'm going to make the most of it while I'm there because it's just a tremendous life.
Some are born to play hockey.
People were telling me that I could make the NHL and I wanted to prove that I could, but I always had this feeling that, you know, maybe if I don't work hard enough that I wouldn't make it. So I always tried to do the best I could. Many kids want to play in the NHL, but, you know, you can only do one thing and you can't do so many other things, and I think you have to put your priorities first. If you're going to be a hockey player, that's what you got to practice. And if you can do that, then you'll get there.
Hi Tammy, hi Trevor.
Hi.
Today we're here to learn some real basics of hockey.
Okay. All right.
So start off with some easy stick handling drills with no pucks, just stick in the air, and we'll just practice turning our wrists over like this. Just pretend you have a puck in the air and just nice and easy.
Is that okay?
Just keep rolling your wrists, that's good. Now we'll try it on the ice, okay?
All right.
Bring it over easy, and then bring it back. Just make sure you're always turning your wrists with it all the time. You keep moving those wrists, it makes it that much simpler. Okay, I'll try it with a couple of pucks. How's that?
Okay.
Okay, all you have to do is the puck in between you, right in between the middle of your skates. Okay? Put the puck in the middle of your hockey stick and just over easy and back.
Am I
easy.
doing it right?
That's it. That's good. Just bring it over easy and then back. Over and back. Now try to keep your head up while you're doing it and pick a spot. Just look at that and see if you can stick handle with that. If you don't keep your head up, you get knocked over pretty easy, so you gotta be able to do that. That's it. You guys learn pretty quick.
Thanks. Thanks.
Moving on to our next drill, we'll go into some passing and taking a pass. First of all, we'll start off with giving a pass. All you have to do really is remember the same as the stick handling, always keep your stick cupped over like this, all the time. Put the puck right in the middle of your skates, facing that direction if you're going to pass there. Always remember to stay on an angle. All you do is you bring it back nice and slow, just like your stick handle. Keep your stick cupped like this, watch where you're going to pass, and bring it right through. There's no slapping involved, and you just shovel it, sort of, and just right through. Okay, Tammy, let's see you try it. There you go, put it right in between your skates, pull it back, nice and easy, that's it, and right through. There you go, you got it. Okay. Moving on to our next little drill, we'll learn how to take a pass. It's the same as giving a pass and stick handling. Always remember to cup that stick, just like that. Remember to curl your wrists, and just as the puck's coming, just bring your stick back a little bit and catch it. That's all there is to it. Just put your stick right in between your legs, and just as it's going to get there, bring your stick back, just like that, nice and slow. Okay, we'll try it a few times. Right here. Okay? Bring your stick back and catch it. Make sure you turn your wrist, pull it back, that's it. Our last drill, we'll try to combine everything that we've done into one drill. Some stick handling, taking a pass, giving a pass, and eventually put the puck in the net. Okay, Tammy, you give it a try first. Just remember to bring that stick back and catch the puck nice and easy. There you go. Take it in, roll your wrist, turn the stick, put it in. There you go. Okay, Trevor, give it a shot. You guys keep working on that stuff, and you get better at it the more you practice it.
Yeah, that was really fun. Thanks.
Roberto Luongo, known to fans as Bobby Lou, announced he is retiring today. A former Vancouver Canuck, most recently a Florida Panther. He announced his retirement in a self-deprecating tweet and a heartfelt open letter thanking fans. So he is retiring in Parkland, Florida, and in that letter he said he is proud to be a Parkland resident, that the community is trying to heal together after that horrifying school shooting. His fans responded to his announcement, and their reaction is our moment.
Bobby Lou, happy retirement from fellow Italian and Montrealer. We are so proud of you. We've always rooted for your success, even if it came at the expense of the Habs.
Luongo may have had his best playing years in Vancouver wearing a Canucks jersey, but everyone knew his heart was always in Florida.
He had this amazing ability to be an elite superstar and to be somebody who seemed like an underdog who you always wanted to root for.
Because you're humble, generous, kind, and hardworking, no matter what the standings said.
I think it was just an honor to be able to to cheer for him for as long as we did, to have him on our team, to have him in our city. I wish him well with whatever comes next, and thank you for all the memories and for everything.
Wow, that's nice. On that school shooting, by the way, Luongo's son's school was in lockdown that day. He spent a lot of time praising the courage of the teachers. And as for that self-deprecating tweet we refer to, he said he's retiring because he's listening to his body and that he's taking his talents to a South Beach retirement home. That is the National for June 26. Good night.